Namaste, good morning, and welcome to the another session of Young Science Leader Series program. I am Dr. Nitin Trivedi hosting this session with Ms. Yesha Barucha. Today we have Dr. Ira Vaidya Malhotra as a speaker. She is working as scientist senior scale at ICAR National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, New Delhi. She is awarded with DST SERB Early Career Research Award in 2017. She holds a PhD in molecular biology and biotechnology from Dr. Y.S. Parmar University of Horticulture and Forestry, Solan, Himachal Pradesh. She was also a university gold medalist in PhD and MSc, and she did her MSc in biotechnology in 2010. She was also recipient of Best Thesis Award for MSc Research, and her research interests include plant cryobiotechnology, in vitro conservation of plants with special reference to species, plant microRNA profiling. So with this introduction, I welcome Dr. Ira, and I request Ms. Yesha Barucha to welcome our today's speaker. Over to you, Ms. Yesha. Yesha, please unmute yourself.
Well, very good morning to all the respected dignitaries and my dear colleagues. Myself, Yesha Bharucha, pursuing BTech in Biotechnology from Navsari Agricultural University. Today we have Dr. Ira Vaidya Malhotra ma'am with us. And ma'am, we are so glad to have you over here. Please proceed further by enlightening us with your journey and hard work. Please ma'am, over to you.
Thank you, Yesha, and thank you, Dr. Felix and Dr. Nitin, for having me. It is a great platform that you all have provided us, and it is also even more great because we have been hearing a lot of our contemporaries, our seniors, and it has been very inspiring to listen to all their stories all this while. So I hope today I will try to tell people about how I have emerged as a scientist and how I have carried on my work ahead. I hope I'm properly audible.
Yes, please go ahead.
Okay. So for me, life has been about taking new chances and trying new things, making a lot of mistakes, and then also learning from them. So that is why I've written this line here as an introductory to myself, because I believe we should always take up new things, take up new challenges, and take up new opportunities. And those opportunities are definitely going to lead us to better things. So talking about my life, I hail from a very small state of India, Himachal Pradesh, and that too a very small hill town, Mandi in Himachal Pradesh. I was born and brought up in Shimla, which is commonly called as the Queen of Hills. And the pillars of my life have been my parents. I'm their only child, and they were never let me feel alone, or I was a very, I should say, I was a very pampered child. But they were very, very supportive of me. They want their priority was always my education. Both my parents were in government service. My mother is a retired principal of a government senior secondary school. My father is a retired senior branch manager of a national bank. Being in the banking sector, he had a transferable job. So he was transferred to different states of India. When I was only 3 years old, he was transferred to Karnataka. Then he was in Punjab, then he was in Uttar Pradesh as well, and then he was in Chandigarh for a lot of time. But my parents took the bold decision to not let my education get hampered because of their jobs. And they decided to stay apart, away for so much periods of their lives, just so that I could continue at one place in one school and I could study properly without any hindrance to my education. So I was always a priority. My education was a priority. And they have been sacrificing, and their sacrifices have made me what I am. They gave me the confidence that I can think beyond boundaries. Being from a small place, I was never limited to small things. They gave me the confidence that yes, I can dream higher, I can go higher, and nothing's going to stop me. So from there, maybe I learned that yes, we should not stop at something and we should dream big. That had always been the motto from the beginning. They had taught me to dream big and then to work for those dreams. So I still stand on these pillars and they still support me in whatever decisions I take in life. They've given me the confidence to take the biggest decisions of my life, and they've always stood by me. The first stepping stone of my life happened to be the school, commonly known as Tara Hall in Shimla, Sacred Heart Convent and Loreto Convent. This place is where I owe my entire value system, my entire leadership qualities, all my abilities, all my extracurricular activities, all the discipline I have in life, and all the love for the subjects and studies that I got. It was this place that has imbibed, from where I have imbibed so much. And I owe a lot of things to this place. There were so many wonderful teachers who I met across throughout the 12 years I spent here. And today also, this place holds a very, very special place in my heart and my life. And from here, my love from biology grew. Our school had a tradition of promoting students who were very, very good in some subjects. So in class 10, this was the first trophy I won in biology, being the best in biology in my school. And this was a very cherished moment for me. And from here, probably the love for the subject grew. It started growing, and from here I knew I whatever I wanted to do in my life, it had to do something with biology. So from here, taking up the medical stream in class 12 it did not come as a surprise to anybody. It was just a very easy decision for me to make, that I had to study biology for my class 12. And then when the biggest decision that comes across to all students is, what after class 12? Now what do you do? So I had read and studied about biotechnology as a subject and a few chapters in my 12th, and that subject had fascinated me a lot. It was a very new discipline, very little things were known about it, but it was fascinating. And I thought, okay, maybe I should take up this new stream, but there were very, very limited options that time. Now biotechnology has grown. But back in 2004-5, biotechnology was not very known, and there were not many colleges offering degrees in biotechnology. So knowing that I wanted to do this, but how to do it? So this was the place where came my first challenge, and the first instance when I stepped out into an unknown zone, and I decided to take up that challenge. That let's see how it goes. Let's take it up. So in Punjab University at Chandigarh, there is a college, GGDSD college in Chandigarh, which was offering an honors course in biotechnology. By God's grace, I got admission to this course. It was a very new course. We were only the second batch. So when I was in first year, there was a second year batch going on, and that was it. There were just 2 batches at that time. It was unknown for all of us. It was unknown for the faculty. They were also figuring out what the subject is, how it's going to be taken up. But yes, they had designed the course in such a way that it was an extensive coverage of the subject. It had subjects ranging from mathematics to physics, statistics, and advanced biotechnology courses of transgenics, bioinformatics, animal cell culture, and whatnot. So those 3 years, they were a thorough understanding of what this new field of biotechnology is. How is it different from the other fields, and what it will offer to us? So we were a small batch of around 12 to 15 students, and 3 years went away doing a lot of practicals, doing a lot of work. Nobody around us understood what we were doing because we were only the very few who were doing it. But we enjoyed it. It was a fascinating field. And by the end of 3rd year, again, the decision was there. Now what to do, where to go, take up MSc, or some of us went ahead with MBA. If taking up an MSc was my calling, then the bigger decision was, MSc in what? Because we had been trained in microbial biotech, we had been trained in plant, we had been trained in industrial biotech, we had taken up courses in animal biotechnology. So which MSc do I take up? Where do I go from here? And we all knew, I knew this was going to be a life-defining decision, because once decided in what field I do my MSc, I'm going to take it up as my career. So the second challenge and the second option to take up a new challenge, a new horizon was waiting for me. I was all set to join MSc in the same college and had even taken up admission there in MSc Biotechnology. But at that time, I came across an advertisement for a course in MSc Biotechnology from this university, Dr. Y.S. Parmar University of Horticulture and Forestry, in my home state in Himachal. I had not known much about this university. I just knew, yes, there is a university by this name. But because I was not from an agricultural background, I had never studied agriculture, I never studied horticulture or forestry. So I was not very much aware of what this place is, what this university is, and what these courses are. And as a matter of fact, I had very few known people who actually knew about what agriculture is going to offer ahead, or what horticulture is going to take me, where is it going to take me ahead. So we took a due decision. My parents supported me and we took this decision. I took a leap of faith and we decided, okay, I want to do MSc Biotechnology. Why not take up plant biotechnology? And rather than studying from a college, I wanted to study from a university campus, because somewhere deep down, I had this feeling that studying from a university is going to give me more opportunities. It's going to give me the opportunity to open up, to explore better things, and maybe it's going to give me something new in life. So I went ahead, I applied for this MSc course. And when I applied, I was very apprehensive, I was very anxious. But as luck would have it, I got admission with a scholarship. So there I was. I did not expect anything else. I had a scholarship with me. I was being able to fund my 2 years of MSc on a scholarship. And I thought there couldn't be anything better happening to me. So I joined. And when I joined this place, I'm very happy that I took up the decision to join here, because this place opened up the fascinating world of research to me. The degree offered here, the MSc Biotech degree, was with a thesis. So we had to do, it was not a project work. We had to take up a thesis on our own. And that is where the researcher in me found its calling. I was very lucky to get Dr. Rajinder Kaur as my guide, as my mentor. She still, till today, is my mentor. I found in her a very, very loving, a very, very supportive person, and someone who gave me the opportunity. She gave me a topic to work on, that we are going to work on marker development. And she told me, I'll guide you, but she gave me the freedom, write an MSc, that you think how you're going to do it, you plan how you're going to do it, and then you execute it. I had the full freedom to work in the laboratory. I had the full freedom to decide. That is the place where I learned to read research papers. Till BSc, we had just read research papers, but then in MSc, I had to understand those research papers, and she guided me doing all that. So from here, I picked up the work of marker development, of data mining, which was very, very new at that time. She sent me to a 3-day training to another university to understand what data mining is. From there, I learned the concepts of molecular biology, right from electrophoresis to PCR to everything. And that is the lab where I fell in love with those instruments. I fell in love with the PCR machine. I fell in love with the electrophoresis machine, because in that laboratory, we, and my guide mates, my lab mates, we actually got those instruments when they were purchased, right from the basic, smallest thing of an instrument. We got to learn the ins and outs of it. And that is helping me till this day. I'm still working on marker development. I'm still doing data mining. I'm still doing molecular biology. So what I did in my MSc and what I learned in my MSc has been with me constant over more than 10 years now. And MSc was a very, very special thing. special place to be in. I made a lot of very good friends and very, very supportive lab mates. My seniors were very supportive. They helped me, guided me. My batchmates were very supportive. And I ended up winning the MSc University Gold Medal, which initially when I had come, I was very apprehensive that I'm coming from a non-agriculture background, non-horticulture background. I am new to this, and maybe I will not be able to make it. But when I won that gold medal, I was so proud because coming into something extreme, absolutely new, and then making it my own, this was something that I was very, very happy about. Another good thing that happened, that I was able to publish my first research paper from my MSc work. While I had completed my MSc and I had joined a project, and at that time my paper was published, and it was an ecstatic moment. I did not know. I had only read papers. I did not know I will be able to publish a research paper from my MSc work. And in fact, we ended up publishing 2 papers from my MSc work, this being the first one. It was published in an international journal. And as happy as I was, my guide was, I think, more than happy than me. Because I still remember that day I was working in the lab and she suddenly opened the door and she was so happy that, we've got it. And at that time, papers were not published. This is in 2011 and 12. So the journals did not have the online system. So we had to post our paper, and then by return mail, we got the hard copy of the paper with the corrections. Then we had to correct it on paper again and then post it back. So that was a very interesting process of posting it and then posting it to England. This journal was published from there, then getting the email back, getting the mail back and waiting for it, and then finally getting the hard copy as it is. So yes, MSc taught me a lot. And right in my MSc, I had decided that I want to continue my PhD in marker development in the same lab. So for about a year, I worked on a project in Apple in the same university. I worked as an SRF. And then I joined PhD in the same university, in the same lab, because I did not want to join anyone else. I wanted to join Dr. Kaur again. And she wanted to take me back again. Here I found another mentor, Dr. Krishan Kumar. He has also been a constant support system throughout for me. These 2 people were like family. All the ups and downs and everything, they were with me. This PhD taught me how to work in a field. I was working on apple. I was to do QTL mapping in apple, which was a very, very difficult task. Being a fruit crop, we cannot have F1 and F2 and F3 generations. So we had to work on these 2 varieties, Red Delicious and Maharaji. They were grown in Kashmir. The material we got from Kashmir, it was planted in our fields, right from sowing of the seeds to getting those small plants to get our work done. Everything was done by me with the help of a lot of people in the lab. And eventually, yes, we were successful in mapping out QTLs for 2 traits. We were able to get a linkage map. We were able to establish 3 to 4 QTLs that were stable QTLs. And this was a very, very good work that was done. And as luck would have it again, I was able to win the university gold medal once again in my PhD. And these years that I spent at this university has shaped me as a researcher. It has shaped me as a person. And these 2 people are still, whatever, I remember when I got my first salary, after my parents, these were the 2 people I called up, because I did not know who else to call, who else would be as happy as I am, because the day I got my first salary. So this is a special place these mentors have in my heart. While I was doing my PhD, I was not very aware of the ARS system, because I was not very aware of the agriculture education system as well. But while I was in the first year of my PhD, the ARS notification came out. And by that time, I had already qualified the NET and the GATE exam. And I was working towards, yes, I want to do research, and I've qualified my NET, and I'm doing PhD, and I'll see what I'll do after my PhD. Maybe I'll join a postdoc, or maybe I'll apply for a teaching position somewhere. But then this ARS notification came out, and I thought, okay, why not give this a try? Why not try becoming a scientist? This was very new to me. I had no one to guide me. There was nobody had cleared the exam before me. Only one of my seniors, about 3-4 years back, had cleared the ARS in biotechnology, and I was not in touch with him. So from my department, apart from him, there had been nobody else who had cleared the exam, and I didn't know what to do. I didn't know how to prepare, or there was no one to guide me on what to read, how to read, and what else is expected. So I thought, okay, maybe this is something new. Maybe I should take up the challenge again. And I just took the syllabus from the website of ASRB, the recruitment board. And I thought, okay, I'll just go through the syllabus and I'll thorough up my syllabus and let's see how the exam comes. And then I sat for the exam in my MSc, in my PhD first year. I qualified the prelims. And for the aims, for the mains, my guide was very supportive. She gave me an off from the lab. Okay, you prepare for your mains. You prepare, take 1 or 2 months off, and you prepare for the exam. And then I made my own notes. It was a very, very rigorous process. It was a very exhaustive process. Those 3-4 months when the exam was near, it was in July sometime, and it was a very, I put in a lot of hard work, yes. And then I left it to God. I had given my exam, and then I came back to my lab and I continued my work. I was in PhD second year that time. By November PhD second year, the interview call was out. Before that only, the interview call was out. And I went for the interview. I was very scared, very apprehensive, because I was coming from a very, very small university. And there were people from very reputed universities I was competing against. And I, in my heart, felt that maybe I do not have that much of an experience and an exposure as people who are studying in Delhi or studying in Mumbai or maybe bigger cities and bigger universities like ICAR. I thought maybe I will not be able to compete with them because maybe I did not have that much of an experience. But my father told me that when you've made it through 2 exams, why are you scared of the third one? It's just an interview. You don't have to think of who all people are there. You just have to go in and you have to give it your best. You know your subject and you just have to show that in the interview. And that is what happened. Even before I entered the interview room, I was very apprehensive because the person who had come out before me had just said it was a great interview and I could answer everything and I knew this. And they were, those people who I was competing against were working on these big genome sequencing projects that were going on that time. They were all part of that projects in their PhDs. So that made me all the more scared. But when I entered that room, I thought, okay, they are here to judge me on what I know and what I've read. So the experience should matter. And I thought, okay, let's face an interview and let's see how the experience is. And yes, the interview went well. I was happy with the interview, but I was not very sure. But in November that year, the result came out and I was going home for Diwali and Dr. Kumar again called me and he said, you're a scientist now. I did not know, I had not seen the result. I just got a call, you were a scientist. And yes, the world opened up. I got my wings and I got to soar high. I got to see my dreams become real. And then ASRB was very kind. ICAR was very kind. They gave me an extension. I applied for an extension so that I can complete my PhD and then join. I was to join in 2013 or 14 beginning, but I applied an extension for my PhD. I got the extension. My guide was very kind to help me to quickly wrap up my work, quickly read my thesis, correct my thesis, and submit my thesis on time. So these are the stepping stones I have had all my life, and these people helped me achieve my dream. And there I was. I joined in July 2014. I joined NARN at Hyderabad, and I joined for the foundation course at ICAR. We were the 100th batch of scientists that were recruited that year. So it was a very proud moment for ICAR. It was a very proud moment for NARN that the 100th batch was coming out. And I was there. I had so many people from different backgrounds. We were 70 people. And I was so happy that I'm coming from a small place. I've made it this far. And we had Dr. Swaminathan who came and inaugurated this batch of 100th recruits of ICAR. And these 3 months we spent at Hyderabad, at NAM, they were a learning experience. I got to know what the agriculture system in India is, what as scientists we should do, what I am supposed to do in my life. I got the aims, where I should work, what I should do. everything related to agriculture and the system. NARM is a very, very good place to learn all this, and the faculty puts in a lot of effort to train all the probationers so that we can go ahead and take up the challenges that agriculture is facing in today's time. So we were there in July to September. We were there for 3 months. We 70 people, this small family. And then in September, we got our postings. First, I was posted to Bharatpur, the Directorate of Rapeseed Mustard Research. I joined there, and because I was coming with a background of marker work, my director, Dr. Dheeraj Singh, assigned me a work on markers. I was happy that, yes, I'm going to be able to utilize what I had studied all this while. And I worked there. And then, as luck would have it, I was to get married, and my future family was here in Delhi. So I applied for a transfer to ICAR. And again, I'm very thankful to ICAR. They were very kind, and they allowed me a transfer to Delhi. So here I was in Delhi, a new challenge, new place, again, a new horizon for me, new opportunities and new challenges to take up. I was first at the National Institute of Plant Biotechnology. And there I was given the work to, I was told to work on next generation sequencing. So this was again something very, very new to me, and I did not know what to do because I was coming with a background on markers. So then again, it was a learning experience. I picked it up. I said, okay, let's take up the work. I did some work, preliminary work. I learned what NGS and all this is. And by the time then, I was posted to the National Bureau of Plant Genetic Resources, that is NBPGR in New Delhi. I was posted here. And here I was assigned to work in the tissue culture and cryopreservation unit. So something completely new to me. Once again, I had never experienced what cryopreservation is. So all this time, it had been a new challenge coming up to me every now and then. So this was also, again, a very, very new challenge. So we took it up. We are a small family of scientists and technical staff at the unit. We are working on cryopreserving germplasm and Indian biodiversity for future. ICAR is a premier organization, and NBPGR is one of the most important organizations under ICAR, which is working on conserving, collecting, exploring the exotic and indigenous plant genetic resources for sustainability. And in tissue culture, we are assigned with the work on developing protocols for medium-term and long-term conservation of germplasm of rare and endangered species. This is our in vitro gene bank. This is our cryo gene bank. We are holding more than 14,000 accessions under liquid nitrogen and in the cryo gene bank. And this is the work that I am focusing on. I am mainly focusing on developing protocols in spices, which are the indigenous spices of India. So I'm working on cardamom and vanilla and a lot of other crops. So we have developed multiplication protocols. We have medium-term conservation protocols where we conserve these cultures for 8 to 10 months without a subculture. So this is a representation of that. This is how we do cryopreservation. This is the work I'm doing in my lab. We are developing protocols for long-term conservation. This is a very exhaustive process. It takes a lot of time, but yes, when these plants start to grow, it gives you a lot of happiness to see that your efforts are bearing fruit. And this is what we're doing in vanilla and hops. I'm developing protocols for long-term conservation and getting some very good results in that. And we will try and put it across as a publication very soon. And the work that and apart from that, because I was doing marker work, so the love for the subject never went away. I have also taken up this kind of work here as well. We are developing markers for the medicinal plants. We are doing their ontology analysis, and we are doing this kind of stuff so that we can develop new markers and utilize them accordingly. And because I had taken up some work on NGS, and then I had applied for a project from SIR, and I was again lucky enough to get this project, and I was awarded the Early Career Research Award in 2017 by SIR, which falls under the Department of Science and Technology. Here I'm working on microRNA profiling for insect host interactions. And we are getting some promising results, and we hope to publish it very soon. Yeah, so that is my story. It's a simple story. It's just about putting your heart and mind and soul into whatever you want to do, and then giving your best for it. So for young researchers, I can always only say that you always have to believe in yourself, and you have to be ready to take up new challenges. There is nothing that you cannot achieve if you put in your heart and your mind to it. You have to explore all your options. You have to explore new options. And the most important thing is you have to enjoy what you do. You have to, if you are not enjoying what you're doing, you will never be happy. And once you're not happy, you will not get the best results out of it. So once you decide that this is what I want to do and you are happy doing it, you have to give it your best. You have to put in the hard work, and the results are going to follow. One more thing for young researchers is you should always nurture your curiosity. Be curious. Never be shy to ask questions. Ask your seniors, ask your colleagues, ask your juniors also. They are also, sometimes you learn a lot of things from them, but always ask, always be curious. Never think that asking a question is maybe not going to put me in a good light or a bad light. No, you should always question things. And when you are in science, you should always question. And only when you are convinced with something, then you go for it. And always be a team player. You can never achieve anything alone. As long as you are in a good team, a supportive team, you will win, your team will win. So always you strive to be a very good team player and read. There is no other compensation. You have to read. Unless you read what is new, what is around, what is happening, unless you are up to date, you're going to lag behind. Science is moving ahead very rapidly. So you have to keep yourself up to date with everything that is evolving, not only around in your subject, but in general also around you. So you have to keep yourself up to date. And yes, the most important thing is you publish your work, be it small, be it large, but you publish. And not only research papers, you should take up other means of science communication. There are a lot of options available for science communication and science communicators. So you should look at all of them. We as young researchers, it is our duty to communicate our science to the common people in the simplest of ways so that they understand what is happening, especially in situations like these, like we are today in. It is very important for us who are understanding what the science behind these new situations and these new challenges we are facing. We understand the science behind it. So we have to communicate it to the people so that they understand and they understand what the situation is and what we can do about it. It is our responsibility as young researchers. It is our responsibility for the society and for our country. And you should always aim to widen your horizons with a positive outlook. The world is open for you. You just have to take that leap of faith. You have to have the confidence and you have to work for it. So as they say, sky is the limit. You just have to take your flight. And once you take your flight, you will reach your dreams. So that is a short story about me. And now my nothing comes without the support of family. My parents have been my biggest support system, and now my new family is equally supportive. This is my husband, and he is with me all the time through all the thicks and thins. He understands. He's not a scientist, but he understands. He keeps pressurizing me at times. Okay, you need to publish. Okay, you need to read. So he's there with me all the time. And I'm so thankful to God that I'm a lucky person that I have got these opportunities and I was able to make the most of these opportunities. And I hope a lot of young researchers make these dreams a reality for themselves, for their families, and do a lot of good work. Thank you. Yeah. That's all I have to share my story with all of you. So.
Yeah, Dr. Ira, please exit your presentation.
Just a sec.
Yeah, over to you, Yasha. Yasha, please unmute yourself. Sorry, still we can't hear you.
Yes, am I audible now?
Yes, yes, please.
Yes. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing your experience and hard work with us. Your story has taught that there are three things that are important in your life. That is your support from the family, then a community in which you are present, you will be working with them, as well as your mentor. And ma'am, every day in life is a staircase you have to climb to enjoy the view. You have let us know about this. And your journey has been a great from Shimla to Delhi, that is ICAR, Indian Council of Agricultural Research Institute. Thank you so much, ma'am, for sharing this with us. I guess this story has inspired many. Sir,
I
over.
hope. I hope so.
Yeah. Thank you, Dr. Era, for sharing your interesting and amazing journey. And as today is Daughter's Day, I wish all the daughters of India a very happy Daughter's Day. And I want to read one quote. Daughters are the most beautiful and magical creations in their parents' life. A daughter brightens and softens her mother and father's hearts. She adds color, sound, and beauty to make this earth a better place. So once again, happy Daughter's Day to all of you. And uh, coming from a humbled background, from a beautiful state, Himachal Pradesh, you followed your passion and you did hard work, and today you are serving in one of the premier institute of India. So congratulations for all of your achievements. And it is very interesting that you started your research in data mining, market development, and concept of molecular biology, and somehow you are still connected to the that field. And uh, I found it interesting that you published two papers during master research, and it is not an easy task in that short period of time. And I think young researchers should learn this art to publish a paper in master research. It will help them, to get a PhD in good institutes in India as well as in abroad. So once again, thank you so much for your talk. And we have Dr. Felix with us. Dr. Felix.
Thank you for having me. It is a platform that you people have provided us. So thank you so much.
Fantastic talk. I listened to your story, personal story, your journey to emphasized on the commitment and and also so it's a story of success. Basically. Your perseverance, your grit, your passion and dedicated perseverance has let you explore to the top. Even the NGS system, you actually started working and publishing quality papers about the next-gen sequencing. So I think you did a great job, and at a young age, you really achieved a lot. And of course, mentors played a good role in your journey, and I'm really happy that you got them. And yeah, it's amazing, and it's miles to go, way to go for you. The sky is the limit, right? So yesterday was the CSAR recently, I mean, yesterday announced the Partner Award. I hope you can also win Partner in near future, you know. Yeah, and yes, it's a great talk. It is interacting with you, Dr. Era.
Thank you.
You're also mentoring some students, couple of students?
Yes, I'm mentoring students in the YSL series. We are hopefully going to publish some popular articles. The students have been working on that. It's in progress. So I hope by this month end, we should have something substantial in our hand.
are you a member of our Facebook group?
Yes, I'm there in the Facebook group as well.
So in the Facebook, when Dr. Nitin shared our story, I mean, the announcement, somebody was saying that can I work with Dr. Era? I mean, just see that, the person's
I'll just
profile,
look
and
into
if
it.
you find it interesting,
I've skipped
yeah,
that. I'll just look into
just
it.
see it, and if
Yeah.
it's possible, yeah.
Yeah, I'll definitely look into it.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, and
Thank
on
you.
to Dr. Nitin and Yasha. Yeah.
Yeah, so just
Yes, thank you so much, ma'am.
please
Ma'am,
go ahead.
Ma'am, you have taught us that what matter in life is persistency, consistency, determination, and hard work for what you want to achieve. So, ma'am, based on your life journey, I have some questions for you.
Mhm.
Like at the age of 17, there are many who are confused about what next. Like they don't know what they are interested in and what they want to do in their life. Ma'am, any like suggestions of what they should do at that particular stage?
Yeah, that is, 17 is when you are in your, you have to enter into your college life. So
Yes.
that is one of the very confusing moments in anybody's life. But I just say that at that time, you should just follow. You don't have to think that I have to become an engineer or a doctor or only these are the professions that I need to take up. No, if you are very passionate about something, there are people who are doing so well in arts. So if you are passionate about one subject and you love doing it, you should go for it. And now the system is such that it's never too late to change. Maybe down 2 years, 3 years, you realize maybe this is not what I want to do. I'm not happy doing it. You can always change on into something new. That's what I said. You can always take up new challenges. It's never too late. But the most important thing is you have to love what you are doing. And once you are doing it, you have to put in your heart to do that. Wholeheartedly, if you do something, you are going to succeed. But if you just do it for the sake of doing it, it's not going to lead you anywhere. So 17 is a very young age to make decisions, yes, but maybe you should just follow what you love at that time. And decision making can happen when you're in college. You start to learn, okay, I'm not meant for this, or I'm meant for that. So that is the time when you start to pick it up.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Over to you, Nitin, sir.
Yeah, so Dr. Ira, just throw some light on key points to clear the ARS and what kind of training they provide during your this in ARS training period.
Yeah, for ARS, actually, the Agriculture Service Recruitment Board conducts this exam. It's usually an annual exam, and the advertisements it's well popularized, it's well advertised, it's on the websites as well, and it's conducted in a lot of disciplines. Biotechnology being one, then there's agricultural microbiology, and there's agricultural engineering, and plant genetic resources, and then there's plant breeding, genetics. So there are a lot of subjects depending on what now I think they have changed the eligibility to PhD, and it's conducted in 3 phases. First, there is a prelims exam. When you clear the prelims, then is the mains, that is that is a theory exam, and then is the interview. For the exams, the syllabus is well laid out. It's well given out unit wise in great detail. The syllabus is given by ASRB. So anyone who's aiming for the exams, I would suggest you have to focus on what the syllabus is. They have detailed it out so well that you should cover up the entire portion of it, because the exam is exhaustive. They will cover every portion of it. So you should have a thorough understanding of the basics, because sometimes what students do is they feel that the exam is very easy because there are very basic questions. But that is where they're testing your understanding of the subject at the very base. So they will ask you such small questions where if you do not understand what the basic is, you are bound to go wrong. So students should actually clear their basics very, very clearly and then sit for the exams. And that subject wise, there are a lot of good books that students can refer to for different subjects. I suggest that they should, when you're studying for one particular topic, you refer to 2 to 3 books, and then you make your own notes out of it. You summarize it from 2 to 3 places, and then you summarize it in your notes and you read them before your exam. because everyone has their own way of expression, and the mains exam is actually based on checking your expression and understanding of the subject. So until you have your own notes, you cannot just mug it up from a book and vomit it out there. No, it's not that. This exam tests your understanding. And then there is the interview that is based on the subject as well. And the training at NARM it's a 3-month training. Out of in the 3 months, for 21 days, we are sent in batches to some different places in India, where we have to work in a village, understanding the demographics of that village, the problems that the villagers and the farmers are facing. And then we have to come out with a solution as to one particular problem, what we think is the most important problem in that village for farmers. And then we present it. When we come back to NAN, we have to give a solution for the problem. So it's an interdisciplinary group of scientists. So even an engineer will be there, a biotechnologist, a pathologist, and everyone, all 6, 7 of us will sit together and work on that problem. And then we present it that this is what we think that village has a problem and this is how it should be addressed. After that, we are posted to institutes across India. 99 ICR has more than 100 institutes. And at the institute, then there is a 1-month orientation training where the institute teaches you where you are, the institute you are joining, and what the work is and what you're supposed to do. And after that, there is an orientation training of 3 months where the institute sends you out to a different institute so that you can learn a particular technique or a skill, which you will then utilize when you come back to your base posting. So actually the ARS training is for 7 months. 3 months at Hyderabad, 1 month at your institute, and 3 months at a different institute. That's called the orientation. And it's called the professional attachment training. And after 7 months, you qualify, you clear you are qualified, and then you join as a probationer at your base institute. So they train you in those 7 months as to how you're going to serve and what you're supposed to do in future.
Great. I think CSIR do not have this kind of training program, and I think
that is the beauty of ICAR.
Yes, I think, but all the institutes, national level institutes, should have such kind of training program, so that
definitely,
the young researcher or a scientist can learn the things that what exactly they have to do. And being an industrial research institute, CSIR should have this kind of a training program.
I cannot comment on that, but I say yes, that is the beauty of ICR, that across disciplines, when you come to Hyderabad for 3 months, you do not come as with your discipline. All of you are equal scientists serving the country. So they will not train you on your discipline. It's about what you're supposed to do, what are the challenges we are facing ahead, how we should develop. And it is also about developing our skills, our communication skills, our team building skills. All these skills are also developed at NARM. So they train you on all of these personality traits along with the challenges the country is facing. And then the subject, they leave it when you go back to your institute for the attachment training for 3 months. That is the time they give you the time to learn and increase your skills on the subject, so that you utilize that training when you join at a place, and then you have to develop your own project and work for it. So ICR gives a very good opportunity for young researchers to actually gives us 7 months to understand what we are going to do, and then we can take it up from there. So yes, ICR is a very supportive organization that way.
Yes, because the selection through ARS, it is also three exam process, and that is not an easy task as compared to.
There are a lot of people who apply. And
I have seen in CSIR they just conduct kind of, you have to give a presentation or interview, no exam, nothing.
See, every organization has its pluses and minuses.
No, I'm just because I'm sharing the experience of CSIR. I think all the national institutes should have similar kind of practices, so that the good people can enter into the stream and do good research. Anyways,
maybe this suggestion can come from the academies. The young academy can suggest maybe.
Yes.
This is how
we can just give our opinion and all.
Yeah, this is what young
ultimately authorities have to decide.
Maybe Dr. Felix, the young academy, can maybe give a suggestion somewhere regarding this.
Yeah, and the another question I would like to ask for the benefit of audiences, because most of them are young researchers. Just tell us something about the next generation sequencing, NGS. It is a very interesting and I think I heard that it is a bit tedious process as well.
NGS is now evolved into a discipline in itself. Now we have scientists who are specialized only in NGS and data analysis. It's not something that a regular biotechnologist can do without training. The sequencing platforms are changing rapidly with advances in technology. So every 1 year, 2 year, the technology changes, the chemistries change. The main aim is you have to design your experiments as to what you want from it. The machine is going to give you sequences. You put whatever you put for sequencing, it's going to give you the sequence. The main work of us as researchers is before that, we have to plan why we are going to sequence something or why we are going to go for that NGS work and what is the output we are going to get after putting in that much amount of money. So when we plan NGS experiments, it's always a plan. Okay, this part is like we are doing microRNA, so we are doing it only for the insect-host interactions only. We are focusing it at one particular point so that when we come out of the research after 3 years, after doing all this work, we have some suggestions for someone else to take ahead that, okay, this is what the gene, this is how the genes are behaving, and this is how one particular problem can be addressed. But what the beauty of NGS is, it gives you so much of data that the data I have generated for one particular point, someone else can look at that data in some other way and address another problem. And that is how this whole system is working. This whole network is working. It's an open network. There are so many websites now that you like. There's NCBI and there's EMBL. There's so many sites where you can just upload your data and then it's open to use. So it's not necessary that we have to go in for sequencing. We have the data available. If we learn the skills to analyze the data, that's the bioinformatics part, we can also derive a lot of valuable information from there. Like is happening in the SARS-CoV. People have sequenced the virus. The sequences, they have been deposited. They're available in public domain. And now people across the globe are using those sequences to understand how this virus is evolving and what it's doing. So NGS is a completely new discipline, and it's a discipline in itself. And the data analysis for young researchers, I would just suggest that today is the need for researchers who can analyze this big data. There are very few people available who can understand the NGS data and who can analyze that data. India has very few trained people for that. So this is one very good field that has opened up for young researchers who can actually take up this field. They can learn, they can train themselves in bioinformatics and data analysis, and they are an asset to any organization today. If you have a trained bioinformatician, he's an asset to the organization. Everybody is looking for a trained bioinformatician. And now so many trainings are being offered free of cost, online platforms. You just need your laptop and you can learn. So researchers can really go for that field and they can just learn how to do it. And they'll help so many others.
Great, thank you. Another question is, as you said that you are maintaining thousands of seed, through seed bank. So I'm sure it is very difficult to maintain all those culture and all, and people will be there, to maintain all these things. But will this seed can be, translate into the fields, or I just want to understand what is the purpose?
It is being translated into the field also. Actually, we are maintaining, there are two modes of conservation. One are the seeds, that is the orthodox seeds, which can be stored at low moisture. NBPGR is actually hosting. We are the national gene bank of the country. We are the one and the only national gene bank of India. And globally, we are second after USA. Every country has their own gene banks. So we are the ones doing that for India. And more than 4 lakh accessions of seeds are stored there. They are stored for long. They have been stored since the past 30, 40 years, and we plan to store them for perpetuity for the future generations. And they are being stored. They are being utilized. If you look at the NBPGR websites nowadays, the entire collections of crops like sesame or cowpea or wheat or rice, they are being transferred to the field. They are being analyzed for all that. This is what we call evaluation. They are being analyzed for all the traits, diseases, pests, abiotic, biotic, stress resistance, high yield, and all these traits. Thousands of these germplasm accessions are currently sown in our fields, and there are scientists who are working and getting the data on that, so that we can come out with some promising accessions that this one is pest resistant or this one is heat resistant, and then it is open for breeders to come and utilize. NBPGR is meant for sharing material with researchers. It's a government organization. When you write to us for any material that you want, we have specialized scientists working in the conservation division for it. So material is equally shared, and it's shared without any cost or anything. We are here to service the nation. And similarly, the cultures that we are maintaining, all the diversity, the aim is to conserve the diversity of the country so that it is not lost due to environmental or man-made hazards. The aim is to conserve the diversity so that anything, even if it's lost in the environment, we have a backup with us. We can always put it back in the fields as and when the need arises or somebody asks for it. Like, for example, recently, some land races of taro were asked from Kerala farmers from us. And because we were conserving them in our in vitro gene bank, we were able to supply them to the farmers in Kerala, and now they're growing them back. So that is where we come in. We are conserving everything. We are like a bank. We're actually a bank. We're just storing everything with us so that nothing in the country is lost, and we can give it back as and when it's required. So the heritage will not go away.
You mean that only in Delhi you have this unit?
No, NBPGR, the headquarters is in Delhi, and we have regional stations across the country.
No, I'm talking about this seed bank.
The National Seed Bank is a very specialized structure. Seeds are maintained at low temperature, so that facility is in Delhi. And then all our regional stations have the medium-term storage modules. They also store the seeds. So if something is to go to Rajasthan, and if it's available in our station in Jodhpur, it will go from there. And the long-term conservation we are doing here, it's a very big infrastructure setup that's been set up at our institute. And you are open to visit. We encourage people to visit, maybe not in COVID times, but otherwise, we always encourage students from universities. They come and they visit us. And the service is for everybody. And we have students doing MSc and PhD from universities. They can come to us. I have mentored 3 students. They have done MSc with me. So they can come and they can utilize these resources and work with us. So there's no problem for that.
Yeah, and the last question from my side is that as you said that you are providing the materials or things to the farmers. So who organized this training session for the farmers?
Actually, for farmers, the trainings are organized at our regional stations mostly. Whatever area the farm, if the farmers are in Kerala, they can write or they can get in contact with our regional station in Kerala, and the scientists there organize. It's a regular process. Farmer trainings are very, very regularly organized by our institute. In Northeast, we have a station in Shillong. They do it, and sometimes in Delhi also trainings are done. The farmers have to write or they have to get in touch with somebody. All our scientists are available. Websites and phone numbers and email addresses are there on our website. So they just have to get in touch, and need-based trainings, NBPGR is always ready to provide.
No, they want to get in touch, or the scientists should go and reach to the farmers?
It's both ways. Scientists are also going to farmers. We have this massive Mera Gaon, Mera Gaurav program also. Apart from that, at our stations and at the institute itself, we have these farmer TSPs, we call them, farmer training programs. And then we have these farmer interactions where our scientists actually go to farmers across the country. We organize these small goshtis and these small meetings with farmers, and we tell them this is to be done, or you have this and how you can utilize it, or how you can whatever work. Like in Uttarakhand, we have a station at Bhowali. Scientists from there actually are in touch with farmers in Uttarakhand. Recently, there was a story on how kiwi has been made popular there by scientists from the station. So scientists are going. We are regularly in touch with them. And if some farmers have any question, it's a two-way process. So it's not a closed system. Scientists are regularly in touch with farmers, students, people from other universities, people from other organizations like CSIR, even CGIAR. We are in constant work with them also. So it's like a multifaceted work going on. It's not in isolation. Material is for everybody. It's for scientists. It's mainly for farmers, for scientists, for students, researchers, anybody who wants to use it. There is no boundary, and it's readily shared. There is no problem in sharing anytime, because that is what we are for. We are the service organization of ICAR.
Great.
Even private companies are also, when they bring in some material from outside the country, we are the ones who facilitate the import of material. They have to come through us only. So we are facilitators for private organizations also. So
great. Thank you.
Is like that.
Dr. Felix, maybe you can ask a couple of questions. And I want to ask you, Dr. Felix, that what is this Young Academy program which you have mentioned on the Facebook? Can you just say something about that program? Young Science Academy or something
Yeah,
like?
actually, yes, internet is kind of flaky today. I hope I can mention to you. So we are planning to start a new academy. So the academy is we still haven't finalized. We are just in the initial stages. So it could be Young Academy, most probably because of votes. As of now, around 200 votes are there. It's increased massively. So let us see. Or the curiosity group, something like the Young Academy could be the one which is winning as of now. So the academy is actually, as I told you, everybody can join the academy. Become a fellow, it is through the election, and you have to be having a great credentials. And whoever we invited to be part of our YSL series are automatically members, the fellows of the academy, and the mentors too, the students who are successfully completed their VISL program will be, they're going to be a member of this academy, though they are not the fellows. Though. So to become a member of the academy, you have to successfully complete the mentorship. And to become a fellow of the academy, you have to be selected as a speaker in the YSL. So that is the two conditions that we are proposing. So actually, it's evolving. So it is not yet. I hope I'm audible. My net is kind of flaky.
You're audible. You're audible.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
So yeah, this is just evolving. We will be saying much more in detail later. And today's talk, it's really interesting era, and you throw some light on the seeds. You spoke a lot about the seed bank of the National Seed Bank of the of India.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm also involved with this Ministry of Earth Science. Dr. Kera invited me to write a book, a chapter on Svalbard. In the global seed vault is there in Svalbard, and we have our own Indian station there. Himadri station is in Svalbard. It's in Norway. It's a rental building.
Yeah, we know about Svalbard, definitely.
So the Svalbard global seed voucher, unfortunately, India is not part of, though many countries are part of. So
we have deposited
why
some
we cannot
seeds.
Be part of this?
Some seed samples have been deposited from India, from ICAR side. There has been depositions, I think 2 to 3 years back. But these are little tricky policy decisions that are taken, why and how much is to go and how much is not to go. These are discussions that are taken up at very senior levels. So we are maybe not the right people to comment on that.
Exactly. So this is something more on IPR.
Yeah, a lot of things are involved, IPRs, and then indigenous. We are a part of the treaty. And India is a part of the treaty, but how much and what is to go into Svalbard, this is a matter of big discussions at very higher levels. So these are decisions taken at ministry. Our director is involved and the ministry is involved. Of course, our Director General ICAR is involved. So they are the people who are deciding on what India's stand is actually, what India's stand is and what India's stand is in future going to be. So those are the people who are actually the decision makers for that. So I would not be the right person to comment.
I just want to add on one. Exactly. I just want to add on one point that NBA is we have National Biodiversity Authority who are actually looking after all export and all the seed or whatever the seed stock being export and import and quarantine, airport quarantine and all. So 2 years back, I went to Germany as a sabbatical, invited researcher in the Max Planck Institute. So in that time, I had to take some live material, algal material. So I was expecting a really high bureaucracy, perhaps years-long fight to take.
No.
I won't be getting the clearance.
Easy. You just have to be ethically right, and it's no bureaucracy, nothing. The institute with the NBA, our institute we are working like it's a very good collaboration. And yes, you will get, if the material is free from pests and everything, you'll just get the certificate. No one will delay you.
Yes, so that is what I was about to say, that I was expecting a lot of bureaucracy and a long delay, but yes, I got it cleared within 2 months. I just applied and then NBA cleared it. So that is a very good news
It's
that
a very
I would like to share
transparent
that.
process. It's a very transparent process,
Exactly.
and people are actually there to facilitate. Okay, someone's request has come, so you just have to quickly do it. In terms of exchange of material, we call it exchange. Like you went to Germany, so you wanted the certificate. When anything comes to India, it comes through NBPGR, and we quarantine it here first to check that no foreign pest or disease enters into the country. Only when NBPGR gives the certificate, yes, it's disease free. The material is then taken, is allowed to go into the country. So we are like the checkpoints. And for customs, as you're saying, there are officials, customs scientists from NBPGR, they go and train those custom officials as to how they are to quarantine. So we have an entire division working on that. And at the customs and at all the ports, even the seaports, our scientists are going and training custom officials there as to what precautions are to be taken and how we are to maintain that nothing foreign enters into the country. So we are actually the safeguards or saviors for that.
All right, Yara, I have a last question to you. It's about young scientists in the country and young researchers. Of course, you're a young scientist. What are the major roadblocks or major problems that young scientists face in India?
Roadblocks, I would not call them roadblocks, but yes, I still feel that there is a lack of awareness of this field. There is still if someone is, when you like Yasha asked me, when you're 17 and you're ready to take up a career, so someone who's good in science will always either want to go in for engineering or become a doctor. The option of becoming a scientist is not there so much with our youngsters, because they are not aware of this beautiful field. They are not aware that yes, there is something like this that has so much for them. Only when you do your BSc, and lucky ones who get to do their MSc and then get to know about research, then very late in our lives we realize that okay, there's something called a research field also. So I think that it's just that there is a very big lack of understanding and popularization of this field. Nobody knows how to become a scientist. When people look at me and I meet somebody and they say, ask me, what are you doing? And I say, I'm a scientist. They will look at me like, the glass will suddenly change. Oh, you're a scientist. Because the image of a scientist is with these like the Einstein image. So that needs to change. Science is a beautiful subject, and just becoming doctors is not doing science. We're all doing so much science that students don't know how to do it. They want to do it, but they don't know. So I think as young researchers, it is our responsibility, yours and mine, to popularize this field. How can you come here? How can you get here? And secondly, now there are very few roadblocks once you get into science. These organizations are doing so wonderfully. They are giving so many funding opportunities to us. We write a project and there are so many organizations ready to fund. So slowly it's picked up. These organizations like DBT, DST, SIR, they're popularizing themselves so much. So those roadblocks that were there earlier, I think for young researchers, it's easier to get a project now than it would be easier when you cross 40. So the situation has actually changed, and it's for us to make the most of it, because for young researchers, every organization has one or the other opportunity. And I think even for foreign travel and PDFs, opportunities are opening up. So it's up to the individual. There are no roadblocks. Everyone is very supportive. We have to be supportive of each other. We have to open up. Even me as a scientist, I have to open up and tell more people, even my peer group, these are the opportunities. Maybe you can also avail. That atmosphere of a team has to come up. It's coming up. The atmosphere is building up. But now maybe we should take it more further and build it ahead. And with these young academies, I think you're doing a great job popularizing things. I've learned a lot from these series when we are following these series. And initially, when we had those, where it all started long back during the lockdown, when we had those lecture series. So we also learned a lot. And I think, yes, I would also love to become a part of these academies, because we're communicating so much other than research papers. That block has to change. Research is not only about publishing papers, it's also about popularizing science to common people. That is one mental block we all have to overcome. not just writing a high impact paper, maybe writing for a small magazine, but making a concept easy for somebody to understand. That is what needs to be popularized.
Over to Dr. Nitin.
Yeah. Miss Asia, you can now conclude the session.
Yes, sir. So we have one question from audience. Can we proceed with it?
Yeah, please take last question.
Okay, sir. So Asha Gopal wants to ask you about as you suggested that there are free bioinformatics training courses. Ma'am, please elaborate it.
Actually, if you search, I think Coursera is also offering, they were initially offering some courses, some introductory courses that were free for students. And now, as you go advanced, they'll charge something, but initial courses there are free. And when you check online, there are a lot of small courses and small videos about the basics of bioinformatics to advanced. It's very open. There are no specific training institutes doing that, but on the internet, there are a lot of resources where you can just start. If you are to start, you can just look at the internet, and there are so many resources from where you can start. Because getting a complete training program, I don't know, maybe online how they are offering, but yes, there are some free courses. If you look at Coursera, you'll find some free courses there, and maybe I can share one or two websites. I can look into them, and maybe I can share in the same chat box by today evening. I can give links to a few websites that are there for courses. I'll definitely do that today evening, or if you want, I can do it in the Facebook group as well.
Yeah, I want to add on this that there are few websites. I think you will get ample information.
Yeah.
Like Biotechnica, then Help Biotech, and this Indian Biosciences. These are some website where you will get the information about different kind of trainings. I don't know whether it is a free training or paid, but
yeah, that we have to
is
see.
there.
But information is there. They will popularize whenever some training is organized. And other links I'll be happy to share in the same maybe link or Facebook link. I'll be happy to share today.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Era, for sparing time with us, and it was a wonderful interaction, and we enjoy a lot. You gave all the answers to the questions, and thank you so much once again on behalf of Young Science Leader Series program, and I wish you all the best for your future endeavors.
Thank you so much for having me. It was a pleasure.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was really helpful.
Thank you, Yesha. Thank you, Dr. Felix. And our next speaker in today's evening session is Mr. Dr. Ranjit Kumar. He is a senior research engineer at Chalmers University of Technology, Sweden. So he will be sharing his journey and speaking his experience on protein biochemistry. So see you all at 4:30. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everybody, especially Era and Yesha. Yesha, thank you so much, Yesha, for coming the second time you're in. Yeah, and bye-bye. See you all at 4 o'clock today.